The two figures lurch from their seated positions with such force that their chairs clatter backwards to the floor. They throw themselves at you. And now, Magpie has decided to book it. So, because Magpie is the closest to the door, he gets to the door. But before you do anything, I'm gonna go down the row and find out who does what. So, Dash, you're behind Magpie, and he's left. There's a cloud of dust in the shape of Magpie where he once was.
Yep.
In this split second, what do you do?
Have I clearly seen what is on the other side of the door that I was walking toward?
No.
So there's no certainty over there?
No. You are all aware that Amara, is trying to get to whatever's on the other side of that door, and you had heard the idling of a car engine. Mm-hmm. You didn't recognize it.
Right.
But you heard that.
If I heard it, and if I'm convinced that that is legitimate, I would be trying to get to the door.
You're directly behind Magpie at the door. Duma, what do you do?
Yoshi's not in the room, right?
I'm in the room.
You're
I'm
in the
behind
room?
you.
Okay, you're behind me. Does it look like the creatures are gonna get there before they get out?
I cannot make that assessment.
Okay. Oh, well then he'll bolt.
Duma is also running towards the door. And Yosh, you got all three of your buddies booking it as fast as possible at this door.
He's not one to stand and fight. He must make like the tree and leave.
I don't know why, but I imagine that Yoshi does think that to himself, but it's so profound in his mind. He does not realize that that is a joke here in English. To him, that is a deep thought that he should write down later.
But you all chose to just get out and go to the door.
Right.
Had someone decided to fight and stay, then we would have initiated combat. But because you all made the same synchronous decision to get to the door, you all get to the door in time. You all made a unanimous decision just to leave. So you have completely avoided combat.
Infectious panic for the win.
Yay!
Yeah. Magpie, you push through that door.
Oh.
And Dash, Duma, Yosh, you all follow after him as fast as possible.
Where did
I close it.
What you see once you're out there is the girl running down a walkway to an idling car. Duma, yeah, you have your eyes closed. You're just trying to catch your breath. It just gave you a little bit of a start. That was all. And, I mean, I guess it's safe to say maybe you have after Yoshi had closed the door, you have your back against it, just bracing it for a moment, but you don't feel anything. Once the door is closed, you don't feel anything pounding against it. With Magpie's one in perception,
Hell yeah.
on either side of the walkway, there are a few patches of grass before the earth stops, and there's nothingness.
Oh.
You look toward the car and see that it's on a vacant road. It is dimly illuminated by streetlights. Beyond this scene, there's a similar nothingness.
We're where the sidewalk ends?
I mean, I guess
Just nothingness.
if it was a little bit more surreal and unnerving,
Okay.
so a little less Silverstein. Yeah.
Well, Silverstein was surreal and unnerving. I had nightmares about that man.
Well, I think that's just more about you than his actual work.
It wasn't the work. It was his picture that terrified me.
To be fair, the mustache is startling.
Yoshi and Dash, although you do not recognize the car, you do recognize John leaning against the front passenger door of the vehicle. He is wearing a fitted uniform and seems to be lost in thought. There's a familiar text and an equally familiar emblem on his uniform. As you try to read it, your head begins to hurt. When he sees the girl running to the car, he opens the back door for her before acknowledging you. And before he acknowledges you, either one of you can roll a constitution to see if you could recognize.
What's the Constitution? Willpower, right?
Yeah. I would say, Yoshi, you have an advantage because you've been the only one to actually perceive what this elusive symbol is. And again, it's a logo and text that reads Mayukin Incorporated. So I don't remember if you've shared this before with the group, but
Yeah, the stuff that he's read, he's talked about. Ellie, it is nice to see you.
John just kind of looks up and like, oh, you're bringing friends with you? And he's addressing Amaro, who's already climbed into the back of the car after he's opened up the door.
Yes, if you have room for us.
Oh, no, we have plenty of room.
Well, thanks, she says, opening the back door. Get on in, big guy.
Yoshi will get in.
And Dash gets in right behind him. Come on, there's room. Get in the damn car.
Well, I mean, hell, all right. John just goes to the driver's side of the car. Like, all right, I guess we're all going.
Dash kind of makes a joke. She's like, unless you'd rather I drive.
No, this is a company car. I can't.
Oh, I understand.
Magpie just looks at him incredibly concerned because he knows him, but he hasn't seen him like this in a while, or ever, at least fully human.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, sure thing, chauffeur. And he just gets in the back.
Then we'll get in.
Is the little girl still in the car?
No. The interior of the car is larger and more spacious than was expected, but not inexplicably so. The girl is nowhere to be seen, but the four of you can fit comfortably in the rear of the vehicle. There are 2 rows of seats of plush leather. These rows face one another. The windows are blacked out, but function as trio screens. There is soft interior lighting illuminating your surroundings. Another window separates you from the driver.
This wasn't a limo when we got in. He's in a company car. I'm sorry, I imagined a sedan of some variation.
You could possibly call it a modified sedan, but it's not a limo. You can't sit 12 people. in it.
Gotcha.
I knock on the glass partition.
Yeah, John rolls it down, and he's like, yeah, what can I do for you?
Where are we headed to?
Oh, we're going back.
Home?
I mean, for some.
Hey, Johnny.
Yeah.
I know you got it stashed here somewhere. Where you keep the drinks?
Under the chair.
Thanks.
And if you can feel around down there, and you'll feel like a switch, and when you apply pressure, it pops and it hits the back of your heel. And yeah, there's a tumbler, and there's a bottle. And there's
Oh, thank God.
How did you find yourself here?
I came to pick her up.
Who?
Amara.
See, here's the thing. Dash knows something's up. I don't know if Dash is, smart enough to look at all these guys and be like, well, obviously this isn't really him. Because she's not stupid, but she's not, good at so much the magical stuff. And nobody else, the people she would expect to be this obviously isn't him, are, what's up, John? And I'm like,
Play
"This is
the
not
rules
John."
of the plane.
I know. But
I mean-
she's, trying to figure out how to deal with this.
I would call that, I don't know if it's so much logic or intuition. I would call that intuition because it's a gut feeling.
Sure.
I'm making me a stiff drink.
Making me
Do
a
it, do
stiff
it.
drink.
That's a 0.
Yeah, okay, you give you a second though.
Something's off. And there's something not right about this because you've worked with Ellie.
Right.
You met Ellie, and he looks like Ellie, but he's fleshier, and that's not right.
Dash knows about John. She's worked around Ellie enough that parts of John have leaked out throughout things, and she kind of figured out that something's up and that was probably who he was before the whole robot-y deal and all this kind of stuff. But she doesn't understand why the more magical people aren't very clear on this is obviously not him, so she's just very uncomfortable and kind of just thinking y'all are under a spell that she's somehow not under.
So John, where we at exactly?
Well, as much as I'd love to keep talking to you, we kind of got to get the show on the road.
Right, but I mean, where the hell we at though?
Just roll down the window. We're here.
Rolls down the window.
You're in front of the house. You haven't gone
Got
anywhere.
Yeah, here. You got an address? I hit my head real hard, and I'm a little lost here.
I'm sure the doctors will take a look at it once we get there.
Get where? Can we go if we're going?
Fine, that's what I said. Y'all just need to make up your minds. And you hear the widow.
God damn it.
Is there... I don't like this.
Yeah, no, just enjoy the drink, sweetheart.
And he kind of like reach out and pat your hand. He goes, I understand. This is not a pleasant
This is very
experience.
strange.
This is not a pleasant experience for anyone. Did he seem less beep boopy?
It's because he is, but nobody seemed to say
I
anything.
mean, only physically. He talks the same.
No,
No, he
does
doesn't.
Yeah, he does. We play pool all the time. What are you talking about?
Are you perhaps thinking of somebody else?
Nah, it's John. Hit on my girl once. It was.
Oh my, wait a second. How am I the only person here that knows? Like, am I the only person that knows about both?
Yoshi doesn't really know too much about John.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah,
why I'm confused,
I think-
because I was trying to figure out. First of all, when I wanted to roll something, it was because Dash doesn't understand why they're just okay with the fact that John Ellie doesn't have mechanically bits. I understand that John and Ellie go from John to Ellie. I've seen him do it a million times, but now that I'm hearing them talk about it, he only knows John and she only knows Ellie, and he doesn't know him at all. I'm the only person here that knows these two people, and I thought I knew the least about him.
These are the two people who called us for the mission. That's all
Well,
Duma knows.
I know, but I'm
It started as Ellie, but then it devolved into John, but he never really said, oh yeah, this is John now, by the way.
I know, but Dash knew that he does that, but I just didn't realize that nobody else did.
No, Yoshi's
That's really
never...
funny. So now you're sitting here going, he doesn't always sound like that, and so then Dash is sitting here going, what are you both talking about? He does this all the time. I just don't understand why he looks normal now.
I mean, that is a first. I gotta give you that. It's probably something to do with the plane, though.
Can I ask a question? Does he look younger?
I'll say he probably looks, especially around the eyes, about 10 years younger.
I go, no, it's not the plane. We're in a different time.
I mean,
This is pre-Ellie John.
before he got a Shadowrun name, sure, but
No. What?
Ellie.
Are you saying that this is before he underwent all of his surgery?
Yes.
Oh, well, probably. I just assumed it was because that's how he thought he looked here.
I mean, that could be, but I'm saying...
This is...
I'm saying...
The
a
biggest concern
memory
is
of
how
it.
he got here in the first place.
This is perhaps a memory that we are participating in.
Right. And everything's been controlled by the little girl so far, so this is her memory.
I know that his uniform is the uniform of my friend's company,
Which company?
My Yukon Inc.
Yes, that's a company that Ellie worked for years.
And he still works there
Yes.
for Eden.
I don't know.
What does
I don't
little
really know the
girl
guy
have
for
to
his.
do
I don't really know
with
the guy for his day
corporation?
job.
There were intake forms on the kitchen table.
Why would company want little girl?
Maybe she's a mage.
Maybe.
It would explain why we are here.
She is the only constant that I am familiar with in this plane. So perhaps this is her plane. She is in...
Reliving her memories.
Yeah, we are in her memories. Like, the carnival was in the first time around, and now it's this with the car.
So
Right.
maybe she's some kind of...
Wait. Are you guys saying that we're... Because Dash truly doesn't know this. You're saying that everywhere we've gone today has been on the same plane?
Yeah, probably.
It's just changing around us?
Quite likely.
Yeah.
Well, then
According
it's...
to him.
If there's one thing weaving it through, it's got to be hers.
Yeah, she's probably some sort of real powerful spirit or something, just controlling everything here.
So then this isn't John. This is her memory of John?
Yes.
That'd be a pretty
That
decent
would-
conclusion.
You hear John shout something to you moments before the vehicle is thrown.
Great.
I'm going to voluntarily pass on perception. This is Dash's worst nightmare. Being in a car crash that she has no control over. So she's actually having a little freak out. I wouldn't even say she's freaking out. She's yelling at the top of her lungs. This is why I always drive.
He's trying to juggle drinks.
Duma is the only one who notices that when the vehicle's thrown, it feels like you're being thrown to the right. The car rolls, bouncing you against the plush leather seats inside. For a few moments, you feel weightless. Then, all at once, you fall onto the ceiling as the vehicle lands, presumably upside down, somewhere. The air smells of oil and rust.
What kind of oil?
Synthetic.
Like car oil?
Like car oil.
Yoshi wants to kick the door out.
Give me a strength.
A 4.
Yoshi, with your 4, you bust that door off its hinge.
And I'm like in full paramedic mode. I am like tossing people out of the car so that.
Yep, like paramedics tossing victims.
That's exactly.
No.
Then, in that
I
case,
can fix them magically.
as you all exit the car at Yoshi's behest,
Yep, just whoop, 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 and he crawls out.
you realize you're in a junkyard. Perceptions.
I would actually forego my perception to just start like doing intake on these guys to see if they're hurt.
God damn, my perceptions are good.
Holla, holla, holla over here. Holy sh!
7.
No, I'm fine. It's fine.
My perception, like, caught some of your perception voodoo.
Yoshi.
6.
Yoshi, it's fine. Ow, fine. Yoshi, it's fine. It's fine. Stop it. I can heal myself. Ow.
Yoshi, you're just hitting him.
Why are you hitting me?
You are the worst kind of patient.
No,
I'm
that
the
would be
unharmed-
me.
I'm the unharmed kind of patient.
That is for me to determine.
You are the worst kind of patient. Impatient. Gotcha.
Magpie, Yoshi's like touching on you and like trying to assess your scrapes and your bruises, and he's got his paws all over you. So with your 2 in perception, you realize that the car that you climbed out of appears to have been utterly destroyed, and it's wedged in a stack of likewise damaged vehicles.
Okay.
Duma, you notice this, but additionally, you see that there are stacks and piles of vehicles. None among them are undamaged. However, some are worse than others. In some piles, you can only discern twisted metal and other scrap. Dash, you notice what the both of them saw.
Right.
But you see something else. Something not automotive in nature. Perhaps a crib? As you investigate, you notice a broken swing and bouncer, a number of bottles, and a fleece blanket with a cartoon car embroidered on it.
Oh,
Yo, if you're gonna check anything, maybe you should check the driver's seat.
Yeah, after he's convinced that you guys are okay,
I'm off.
he's gonna go and check to see if John is okay.
Yes.
Sure. I'm not going to ask you to roll perception because you're literally opening the door or looking in the window to see John, and John's not there.
Well, it's better to see him gone than to see him mangled.
Yeah. And Missy, maybe you shouldn't wander off?
I'll climb a pile to see, because you say all I can see around is cars, right?
Yeah.
Well, last time I climbed a pile and found a way out, so I'm going to do that.
Okay. As you're climbing a pile, and I'm going to have you roll something, but hold on. As you're climbing a pile, you hear a whistle that sounds like a pained cry echoed from somewhere in the junkyard. The distinct sound of hissing steam accompanies it.
I'm gonna follow her.
Okay. So, let me get an agility
Okay.
to see how well you climb that pile. And then we're going to cut over to Magpie and Dash.
Do I recognize this junkyard? Or is it a nondescript junkyard?
I'm going to say that it's a nondescript junkyard.
Sure.
Or is there a junkyard in mind that you
Um,
remember seeing baby stuff at?
Not baby stuff by any means. But I imagine Dash has a favorite junkyard to go get, to sell her
Her
scrap
brother's
to.
junkyard, right?
Yeah, well, her brother has kind of a junkyard garage type deal. Not a trash junkyard, but like a junk car yard.
Also,
yeah.
she'd be familiar with the Seattle junkyards for sure.
Yeah.
He also has spurs that he wouldn't hesitate to use on the scrap pile if he starts to slip.
Okay.
So.
No, you make it to the top, and before I describe what you see or what you have the opportunity to roll perception to see, Mags, what are you doing following
Well,
Dash?
I was following because I didn't want everyone to get separated. At least none of the smaller folk, like myself and her included. Because, I mean, the two big guys could probably take care of themselves. So, I'm just kind of, where you going? And I'm kind of walking after you.
Yeah,
Kind
I'm
of
not really.
motioning for Yoshvik.
I'm not really walking, but I'm not really running. Like I'm.
You're power walking.
Yeah, I'm walking with a purpose towards something. Probably deftly jumping over. Maybe not jumping, but maneuvering past pretty sharp, jagged metal. This is kind of no new news for her.
Alright, so Dash is just like taking off.
Maybe,
I'll be back. You won't
No,
even
that-
miss me.
Hey, Yosh, come on, let's go.
Before you guys go out of earshot, Duma, roll that perception.
3.
Alright. With a 3, Duma, you see there's a flurry of activity surrounding a great steam engine in the distance. From where you are in the junkyard, you can see the light of its headlamp splitting the darkness. You are aware of a crew surrounding it. They're all wearing a similar uniform consisting of overalls or slacks and button-ups or t-shirts. They are shoveling junk into the car behind the engine, presumably to use as fuel. As you watch them work, you realize they have no heads.
Well, that is unsettling.
And that's the last thing you guys hear if you proceed after Dash.
Yo, Bone Boy, come on, let's go.
Stay there. No, I'll be right back. Don't worry about me. I'll be right back.
Still coming after you.
Can I follow them on the piles of cars, or is getting down the thing I should do?
Actually, no. I'm gonna. If you say no, that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna say, Magpie, back off. I'll be back in a minute.
Whoa, what the hell?
Just let me. I'll be back. I don't. Off. I'll be back in a minute.
Chill, damn. You'll just stop. Anyway, whatever.
I can either reread my description of how these vehicles are, or you could roll an intuition. And based on your intuition score, I could give you more information.
Okay, because as I recall, they were piled up. I just don't know how close the piles are, is basically what I was saying.
Oh, so you just want to perceive the distance between piles?
Yeah, like, can I hop from pile to pile kind of thing?
You can perceive the distance between the piles. I can answer that question.
3?
Yeah, it looks like between some of these, there's a couple of feet. Between some others, it's a little bit more of a leap, maybe at the most 10 feet. But there's some clearings. It looks like you could make some distance on the tops of these vehicles.
Okay, because I kind of want to keep an eye on the giant steam machine.
I don't know, how sturdy are these piles?
Probably not very.
That's also possibly true.
I
I guess I'll hop down. That makes good sense.
what do you see up? There's no more cows, are there?
Well, it's not a cow yet, but it's a giant steam-powered car crusher with headless crewmen. As he hops down.
Does it also spit fire
Does it
And
spit
smoke.
hot fire?
and want to, kill my ass?
It is machine.
I'll go to the crib. What do you mean, where do I go?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were investigating a specific
Oh,
item.
yeah. I'm heading toward that. I don't want any of them coming with me, though. Well, I'm gonna kind of probably get within good eye shot of it.
Yeah.
And then very slowly approach it. Do I recognize it?
Based on your perception, barely.
Barely?
It's junk. It's in this pile of junk, but you think maybe if there was less grime, maybe if it wasn't here, maybe if it was in the apartment, maybe this could have been the crib. It could be. Maybe.
I want to look at the blanket.
All right, you look at the blanket.
It says it's got a little toy car. Is that all that it has on it? Just nothing. It's just a little toy car.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna pick up the blanket. And is there like anything around that I can like clean this stuff off with, or like a rag or like a towel or like anything that I can like
there doesn't really seem to be anything clean here.
Oh, no.
Perhaps except you guys.
Alright. I mean, I'll use, like, my jacket or whatever to, like, clean some stuff off. But, man, I really don't know what to do with this.
Can we see the train from where we are?
Not from the ground.
Okay. So you said there's like a crazy
Headless
kilomatic
crew.
train?
With headless crew.
Well, great. That makes everything so much better. Alright, I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
He's gonna turn into a bird.
That is useful talent.
You become a bird. Go ahead and roll perception to see if you get any additional information.
Yoshi immediately reaches into his pocket to see if he has any crackers.
God damn it. He is gonna fly like a little bit closer. Because, I mean, he can fly.
Yeah, no, do it.
That's a 3.
Alright, because you already knew that you were looking for a machine, a train, based on what he described. And you just said, you just went closer. Like, you just went and got a better look. Why not? So,
I'm a little bird. No, what are you gonna do?
you look at the ground, and specifically, I guess, around the train,
Yeah.
and you don't see any tracks. And you're unsure if it's a trick of the steam or your own mind, but the driving wheels don't appear to be on the ground.
Okay. I have another question.
Sure.
These dudes with no heads,
Yeah.
do they look like they should have heads? Or is it just like flat there, like there's no space for a head? You know what I mean? Does it look like they were torn from the body, or that they never existed in the first place?
I'm gonna say that they never existed in the first place.
Okay.
But of course, should they have heads? They probably,
Yeah,
well, yeah, they should. Despite them having no heads, you're all aware that they're looking at you.
Oh. Oh no.
Little snowflake.
Can you guys see me? That's a good question. Where am I in relation to them? I
Well,
don't
we
know.
all saw, like, we could see the baby stuff from where we were, so...
Yeah, so I'm gonna say
We just
you're a good 50 feet away from them.
But in plain view.
Yeah.
I do not think we should linger here any longer than we need to.
Okay.
Before you leave, you see them immediately board the train as a burst of steam and smoke erupt in billowing clouds surrounding it. You hear a tiny bell chime before this monster begins to chug toward you.
Okay, so I fly back. I turn back human before I land, so he kind of like stumbles into human form. Okay, we gotta run. The train, it's moving, there's no tracks, it just kind of floats, the guys are on board. We ought to find the door and get out of here. Because Choo-Choo's a coming.
I'm not. I can't even hear you.
He's yelling.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then I can probably hear you, but it's almost as if I cannot. I'm gonna try to pick. Can I like try to like put everything in the crib and then like try to pick it up and like carry it with me?
Oh man, I don't know the weight of a crib off the top of my head, but I want to say you're looking at like 30 or 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Is it metal or wood?
It's wood.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be wood.
I do too.
Is it in the condition to be just picked up like that?
Oh, that's another thing. You'd have to have the strength to pull it out of the pile. Like the blanket, you can grab. The
Alright.
broken bouncer, you could probably get like
You could probably
a good
track
portion
it.
of it.
Right.
But the crib is like really stuck in there.
Okay. So to recap, there's the broken bouncer, there's the blanket, there's the crib, and
There's a couple bottles like,
Alright.
kind of just around.
all right. I'm just gonna grab the blanket, and I'm gonna roll like a composure or something to be able to leave on the first attempt. 3, and I had set a threshold of 4 in my mind.
You don't hear right now. You're so fixated on these objects and on this blanket and what does this mean that you don't hear Magpie yelling at you.
Yeah.
Seeing her not move, Yoshi's gonna move over to her,
Okay.
gingerly walking through the piles of stuff, and he's gonna put his hand on your shoulders, and he's like, "We must leave now."
I can't,